Right now, 150 million Europeans are trapped under active extreme heat alerts. On the ground, major population centers are baking. Digital thermometers on city streets are flashing 45 degrees Celsius, severely straining the limits of human endurance. This chart shows historical summer mortality averages in Europe, compared to a massive spike recorded just a few years ago. In the summer of 2023, 35 European countries suffered over 47,000 heat-related excess deaths. The early numbers for late June 2026 point to a similar tragedy. France has already reported roughly 1,000 excess deaths within a single 3-day window, with 85% of those fatalities occurring in people aged 65 and older. The lethal intensity of this crisis is the result of 3 distinct atmospheric forces converging in a single, devastating chain reaction. We can see the first force in this graph, tracking Europe's baseline temperature against the global average over the last 50 years. Europe is warming at roughly twice the global rate. That artificially raises the starting temperature for any weather system forming over the continent. The second force is a super El Niño. While the 2023 crisis happened while an El Niño was still in its building phase, the current 2026 event is riding the coattails of a global atmospheric cycle at its absolute energetic peak. This cycle pumps massive volumes of excess heat and moisture directly from the Pacific Ocean into the atmosphere, which severely disrupts the normal behavior of the jet stream worldwide. This disruption forms the heat dome. Like a giant lid, this stalled high-pressure ridge traps and sinks air. As it compresses, it superheats and clears clouds to bake the Earth. This dome continuously pulls a thermodynamic plume of blistering, dry air directly from the Sahara. The heat dome is the physical engine generating the extreme local temperatures. Global warming and El Niño act as the high-octane fuels, forcing that engine to run hotter and making it much harder to break apart. Right now, the core of that heat dome is migrating. It is actively sliding away from Western Europe and pushing deeply into Central Europe, the Balkans, and Ukraine. These new targets face severe infrastructural vulnerabilities. Many residential buildings and hospitals in Eastern Europe lack widespread air conditioning. Furthermore, local energy grids, particularly in Ukraine, are heavily compromised, meaning power outages cut off access to fans and water pumps when they are needed most. This introduces the defining lethal characteristic of the 2026 dome: tropical minimums. In major cities, urban brick and concrete centers are absorbing massive amounts of energy during the day, meaning nighttime temperatures are failing to drop below 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. When the temperature stays that high, the human body cannot cool down during sleep. Instead of resetting, physiological heat stress accumulates rapidly over consecutive days. Because of this, public health agencies are bracing for a massive secondary wave of casualties over the next 2 weeks, driven by sudden cardiovascular and respiratory failures in highly stressed populations. The eastward shift into unprepared infrastructure, combined with inescapable nighttime heat, perfectly aligns conditions for the 2026 death toll to climb past the 2023 benchmark. Eventually, the heat dome will break, but it won't be a quiet return to cold weather. The atmosphere seeks equilibrium, resulting in a violent clash of air masses. When cooler, unstable Atlantic air moves in and collides with the retreating, hyperheated vacuum left behind by the dome, it triggers severe thunderstorms, torrential downpours, and intense flash flooding. Even after these massive storm fronts pass, the fully baked, moisture-depleted soil means the land will continue to heat up rapidly on sunny days, locking in a permanently higher temperature baseline. Lowering the mortality rate of future events requires both immediate cooling for the existing population and a direct effort to lower the global temperature baseline. To counteract deadly tropical minimums, countries across Eastern and Central Europe must execute widespread installations of air conditioning in homes, schools, and hospitals to provide people with an immediate physiological reset. But while air conditioning treats the immediate symptom, it does not stop the background warming that makes these domes possible. As long as the atmospheric baseline continues to climb, these high-pressure lids will naturally trap more energy. Breaking this cycle requires removing the primary driver of that rising baseline, fossil fuel emissions. before these supercharged heat domes become the permanent standard for a European summer.